Hello budget buddies and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Natasha and today we are starting a new series. So we are going to name this series Pantry Panic. Okay, this is going to be based around all things food recalls, food insecurities, agricultural shifts that are coming, weather changes that are going to affect our food prices. Okay, we are going to talk about it all in this weekly report. If we start getting so much information that we need to do a video midweek, we definitely will. But I hope you guys enjoy this new series. This week we are going to talk about, of course, the egg prices. Everybody's talking about the egg prices, but I'm going to share with you some ways that we can cut those costs, okay? We're going to look into how we can solve the problem versus just giving you the problem. The next thing that we will talk about is some recalls that are happening right now. We want to make sure that we are aware of those and we get any of that kind of stuff back out of our pantry so that way we don't accidentally store something that could make us sick in the long run. We are also going to touch on some of the items that are going to be coming back into season. So some of those food items that we can buy in bulk and we can keep our costs down and get those preserved in some way, shape, or form, freezing, dehydrating, freeze drying. We're gonna talk about canning. We're gonna come up with some ways that you guys can buy in bulk and reduce that pressure of those grocery prices. My name's Natasha and I am a medically retired disabled Army veteran, and I recently had to come out of retirement to help with the grocery bill. Our food prices have been soaring to the point where it is hard to feed a family. And so this series, we are going to encompass how I am able to not only manage through the fact that grocery prices are continuing to grow, but also balancing a full-time job while taking care of children and all trying to keep that grocery bill down. So this week we only saw one food recall item, and this is from the company AKT Trading. They are out of California, and these are prepared vegetable products. So one of the things that Luke and I have stopped doing is buying these prepared products that are already in the grocery store. One, because they are charging you more just because they took the extra 2 minutes to cut them up, and two, because these really get contaminated so easily. I can't tell you how many times I've seen botulism, listeria, norovirus can be on these vegetables. So even if the vegetables came and they didn't have any contamination, but the food worker that is cutting those vegetables touched that produce and had the norovirus, which can linger in your system for many, many weeks, my friends. I'm really hitting on the norovirus because I just got over it and I'm not sure how we got it. So what we are really looking at is where our food is coming from, who is touching it, the process of how we can keep those food costs down, and one of them is buying the pre-packaged or pre-sliced veggies. So that company has recalled a lot of the brand name is Japanese Pickles, and I will link the link down below if you want to do more research into that. I've also shown you some of the product pictures. It does look like it is more of an oriental product, and but I am telling you right now that this is going to become more common, more widespread as we are going into produce season. So make sure you are checking your pantries for anything that has been recalled this week or in a couple weeks prior, and make sure you get those out of the pantry because we don't want to accidentally contaminate ourselves later down the line. The next thing I want to talk about is those egg prices. We all know that those egg prices are killing us, my friends. I actually just went and bought a couple more chickens. I got 4 more chickens, and I know that that is not something that everybody can do. Listen, I am on a small plot in town. I am only allowed 10 hens, and you know, That's just what we're allowed to do. I know that that is not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody wants to mess with raising chickens, having chickens, just for the eggs. So here are some alternative options for you to keep those egg prices down. One of the things is right now, actually go on your neighborhood app. You can use an app like Nextdoor, you can use Facebook, whatever is available to you. Go knock on your neighbor's door who does have chickens and ask them how much they are charging for a dozen eggs, because I almost guarantee you right now that your farmer's eggs are cheaper than your store-bought eggs. And I say this because the store down the road from us, their eggs are $8 a dozen. My friends, the going rate for the ones out my backyard is $5. So go do your research, check around, see what you can find out about those. Another option that you can choose is to go the freeze-dried route. You guys all know that I love Thrive Life freeze-dried food. I also have a freeze dryer, which is down at the moment. We'll talk about that in another video. But you can go, and Thrive Life is having a sale on their freeze-dried egg mix right now. One of the reasons that I absolutely love their stuff is because it is clean ingredients, okay? There's no preservatives, there's no extra things in there. It is literally just eggs, okay? So go check that out. I'll leave my link down in the description box below if you want to stock up on that, because look guys, this is only going to get increasingly worse, and I don't want to alarm you. I want to make you aware that you need to start preparing, and you need to start getting these things, filling in those blanks in your pantry and working around them as best as you can during this time. Another thing you can do is go get your handy dandy little phone and go look at Pinterest, okay? Pinterest will have all sorts of baking alternatives for eggs, okay? You can use applesauce, you can use flax eggs, chia seeds. There are so many different alternatives that right now are absolutely much cheaper. If you are looking to do any baking or anything like that with your eggs. Now, I know Easter is coming up and eggs are, you know, we may not be dyeing eggs this year, my friends. I don't know who's going to be able to afford to dye eggs. Look at alternatives. Go the plastic egg route this year. I know that a lot of people are going to not be dyeing eggs, even though that's a family tradition. Maybe go check out those local farmers and see if their prices are cheaper than the store prices. A 60 count of eggs right now in my store is $30 at Walmart, okay? That is insane. The most we ever saw it get to was $16 during COVID. And so I got some sticker shock the other day when I went and saw that they were $30, because my monkey eats 3 eggs a day. And if we didn't have chickens, I would be broke, because he eats so many eggs. And that is, we usually buy the 60 count to keep us going during the winter time when the hens are not laying. Thankfully, we had our freeze-dried eggs and everything else that we could cook up for him and use to kind of fill in those gaps during this craziness time. Some of my hens have started to kind of lay again, so thankfully that is what we are doing to get around that. One of the other things as we are shifting into this spring season that we are going to start seeing is more of that produce come back into season. Things like our squashes, things like our onions. Right now we should be seeing asparagus prices drop. Those type of things. Now is the time to start freezing, dehydrating, freeze drying, canning. Get your hands on those recipes and start trying things out. Pickling, okay? 3 of the cheapest ways that you can start preserving today. Freezing, use your freezers. Dehydrating, a dehydrator, you can buy one at the thrift store for $10. I actually got a really nice one for $20. It's usually like a $300 or $400 one, but I somehow scored and got it at the thrift store for way cheaper. You can get even just a general $20 one at Walmart is going to do the trick, okay? Start dehydrating things like onions. Buy those in bulk, your onions, before they go bad. You can do asparagus. You can dehydrate asparagus. Start really looking into those methods. And the third one that is cheap is pickling, okay? Go get you vinegar, make sure it's that 5%, and start pickling veggies. That will make them last a little bit longer, gives you a little bit more flexibility to buy those in bulk and then preserve them and keep those food prices down. Okay, so today we've talked about our egg prices and some alternatives to get around the inflation on those. We've talked about the recalls of the week. Not too many this week, but that could be changing here very soon. We also talked about ways that we can start preserving as these veggies and fruits start coming back in stock and those prices start coming back down for us, okay? Utilize your freezers, utilize those dehydrators, and start getting those things put back onto your shelf so that way you can prepare for the next influx of price increases or contamination that are coming our way. Those are the things that we have talked about this week on our Pantry Panic reports. And I do want to leave you with just a couple final tips before we go. Start preparing our pantry for uncertainty is get a list of what we already have. Take an inventory, see what we already have, see what needs to be filled in our pantry. Make sure we are rotating and organizing. I am not the best at this. So, do as I say, not as I do type of thing. And making sure that you are rotating through those foods is definitely ideal. So that way you don't end up having to throw away foods. The most expensive food is the food that you do not eat and that you have to throw away. I so stand by that, and it is so true. And especially in today's world, when you are buying an avocado for almost $2 and you use half and you throw the other half in the fridge and that half goes bad, you forget about it. We have just lost money on the fact that we did not prepare and utilize that other half of that avocado. That's just an example of how it can slowly add up, my friends. And the last one we need to do is we need to start being more flexible. I totally understand that we have our preferences and we want beef and broccoli that night. Well, maybe we need to change it to beef and asparagus because asparagus is cheaper this week versus broccoli. Really start becoming creative, start being flexible because our favorite foods may not be available on a week-to-week basis. Thank you for tuning in to our Pantry Panic report. I will see you in the next one. Bye.